Let's talk more about this defense. Obviously, too, you have the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday. But we were watching this game. It was so frustrating to see this D-line not be able to generate some pressure because, by the way, Ryan Poles is paying them a lot of money.
Yeah, listen, that's been my biggest gripe the entire time. I understand you don't have the DBs right now. Nashawn Wright had a terrible game today. But this defensive line is your defensive line. These are the guys you paid to come in here, and you believed they're going to continually generate pressure on the quarterback. Joe Flacco basically was calling, as old as he is, grandkids at this point? Well, he was calling the grandkids to let them know, hey, like, I'll be home for dinner at 4. Make sure to keep it hot for me. I'm going to go drop 500 yards on the Chicago Bears by myself. He didn't get that much, but almost 474. Like, those are the things for me where the two games where we saw them the best, back-to-back, Raiders and Saints, we talked about the pressure that they were generating. They've done a better job at stopping the run. Chase Brown really didn't get involved a ton in this game. But this defensive line and being in the face of the quarterback, I get it. You got a few more. I think they got 3 sacks today in total. I would rather have pressure all day over sacks because it makes quarterbacks have to make quicker decisions. And you had Joe Flacco today standing back there just biding his time, waiting for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to find their way open. That's unacceptable.
I mean, you want to talk specifically about players, and I thought Montez Sweat had a pretty good game today. I know he almost had that sack, forced fumble early on in the game, which would have been a pretty good turning point for him, especially since he's been trying to really get going, and we've seen him kind of pick it up the last couple games too. I'm not really worried about Montez anymore because we talked about him saying, hey, we need to see more out of Montez.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing now. The people that I'm looking at on this defensive line are Grady Jarrett, it's signed to be that run guy, to be that leader on this defense, and then Dio Dengwo, a guy that they paid a ton of money. We heard earlier this week from Ben Johnson saying, hey, when he's rushing on the inside, when we can pin our ears back and we can put him on the inside, that he's having great games from interior as a pass rusher. But we need to see more from the edge, and I think this was a game where you're like, we needed to see a lot more there because this Bengals offensive line, and if there's anything I know about the Bengals offensive line, and a friend of mine, a big Bengals fan, was always telling me leading up to this game, like, hey, like, it hasn't gotten any better. I'm like, I feel like ever since we were roommates in 2016, the Bengals have been trying to improve their offensive line, and it's still in that point where they were in a position to be taken advantage of.
Yes.
And the Bears just were able to do that consistently. They had good plays. Montez, I know Gervon Dexter Sr. had some good plays too, but Dio, I know he got hurt in the end of the game too, but from the edge, you need more there. You need more from Grady Jarrett too.
Joe Flacco, by the way, was not 100% today. Was not playing 100%.
Sprained AC joint.
Yeah, they signed him on, they traded for him on October 7th. By the way, his 470 passing yards, that's a new career high for him. But Jim, when you look at this defense, what concerns you the most?
Yeah, I think those two go hand in hand, is your pass rush and your coverage. So one of the two is going to have to be addressed, or Booker or somebody, because Robinson just got hurt and he didn't play today, obviously. Somebody has to emerge, because Dio, to me, is not the guy. I mean, he's coming off a 3-sack season for the Indianapolis Colts. Or you got to be able to dial up more pressure. But that's the problem when you play a team like Cincinnati, because if you're going to bring pressure, now it's one-on-one on the outside, and I think everybody saw what happened. I mean, that was a record yards per catch game. I mean, I think between Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, those guys were averaging over 20 yards a catch. And that's why Flacco ended up, you give up huge chunks of yardage. I think it's a good signing to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson on a Wednesday. That guy started. They actually blitzed him today. The problem is the outside guys can't hold the coverage that long. You have Stevenson on one side, and I agree with Pat. Nashawn Wright, this has happened even back in the preseason. Go back to that last preseason game against Kansas City. Thornton of Kansas City ran right by him. He can't go step for step for guys on deep plays. So if you're going to have to bring pressure, you've got to have corners that can hold up on the outside one-on-one. And to me, the Bears are a corner, if not two, light in that area.